Good day, I'm Alison Jane Dizon together with my groupmates Trisha May Arasa and Wendell Namus. And we will be discussing about the philosophy of self of the famous Scottish philosopher David Hume. But before that, let me tell you who David Hume was. Hume was born in Edinburgh in 1711 to a family that was long established but far from rich. He was the second son, and it was clear early on that he would need to find a job eventually. But nothing seemed to suit him. He tried law, but soon decided that it was a laborious profession requiring the drudgery of the whole life. He was considered for academic posts at the University of Edinburgh and the University of Glasgow, but he didn't land either job. So he set out to become a public intellectual, someone who would make his money selling books to the general public. It was hard going. His first book, A Treatise of Human Nature, for which he had the highest hopes, met with a dismal reception. Never literary attempt was more unfortunate than my treatise, he wrote. It fell dead-born from the press without reaching such distinction as even to excite a murmur among zealots. But he kept at it, realizing that the blame largely lay with the way he had expressed his ideas and largely trained himself to write in a more accessible and popular manner. Eventually, he did find an audience. His later works, history books, and collections of elegant essays were bestsellers of the day, up until now. Now that we all know who David Hume was, let us now proceed with his philosophy of self that will be discussed by Mr. Namus.
Thank you, Miss Addison. Now, we will be discussing about his philosophy of self.
According to Hume, there is no actual self. He believed that a thing would only exist if our impression and ideas are the same. Like for example, a perfume. Our impression in it is that it has a good smell. We can conclude that perfume does exist because we have the same impression. Unlike from self, our impression and ideas are inconsistent. It means that our self does not exist because according to Hume, before we conclude that we are exist, we must have the same ideas and impression. He also suggests that the self is just a bundle of perceptions. That is why there is no reason for him to believe in a self.
Now that we know his philosophy of self, let us jump to the conclusion that will be discussed by Miss Tricia.
Thank you, Mr. Wendell. Let us proceed to our last and final group, the conclusion. In addition, the idea of the self is simply an idea, and there is no guarantee that it exists in reality. Again, it is natural to talk about it because we exist, because we are accustomed to it, but to suppose that there is within us an unchanging substance called the self is an illusion. And that's it. We're glad to be part of your learning experience about Hume's philosophy about self. Thank you for watching.